Alright guys, here, welcome to a new video. This video here is going to be our sub-rogue rating guide. So let's get into it. Let's show you guys how you're going to play your sub-rogue's talents, etc. All the things you're going to need to know on how to play sub-rogue here in the Shadowlands pre-patch. Hopefully you all have had your great looks changed. You can see I've got mine right over here. And there will also be upcoming Mythic Plus guides for the pre-patch, as well as maybe some other classes. So guys, let's get right into it and check it out. Alright guys, before we get too much into it, guys, don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed the content. If you found it helpful, leave a comment of what you want to see next. And subscribe, ring the little bell icon. Didn't have a pun for the bell icon today, but we'll have that for you next time. And go and follow me over on twitch.tv. I'll leave a link to that alongside links to all the social medias in where you can follow me in the description below. We managed to help 1,500. 15 people get ahead of the curve here on the SUF. And we'll continue raiding and having a good time over there. Alright guys, on with the video. Alright guys, talent. So for the talents here we will be using as a sub-rogue, I'm gonna go over the ones that matter. There's the optional choices, which is the 35 and the 40 row. Those are completely optional. It depends on your situation and your survival. And they don't really do anything to damage in a raid. So these talents here will be good for single target, so for raiding or maybe a tyrannical King's Rest or workshop. Those dungeons favor single target a lot, so for single target dungeons and raids. So the first up, we're going to take Weapon Master. Weapon Master is the strongest one in this row here. Premeditation is not as strong as it has been on the beta, and frankly we just gain too much from Weapon Master. This is likely due to that we are as high as we'll ever get in gear compared to our level for a certain expansion at the moment. Night Stalker is what we're going to take in the 25 row. Subterfuge and Shadow Focus simply does not stack up. Right now, I'm like in pretty much max gear, as close as it gets to BIS without being actual like BIS. And Night Stalker is just the best for me. Likely, we'll get into the other talents in a bit, but Night Stalker, 12% more damage while in Shadowlands and Stealth. This is going to increase Eviscerate, and it's just going to give you a really nice amount of burst. Stacked up with Deeper Stratagem for the 30 row, which increases so you have 6 combo points. Way more combo points, and also increases the damage done of your finishing moves by 5%. Real nice. We're going to take Deeper Stratagem here. Vigor and Mark for Death. Mark for Death is not really worth in PvE, and it has... it's very few scenarios Mark for Death has been worth. Vigor and Shadow Focus. If you are a bit low on gear or don't have the right essences and are struggling with your energy regen, you might want to consider picking either Vigor or Shadow Focus over either Deeper Stratagem or Night Stalker. Likely I'd say Vigor will be the most likely option, because that applies for your entire uptime, while Shadow Focus is only while you're in stealth for Shadowlands, to mitigate your lack of energy regen. So those are some things you can take into account. I always recommend simming if you're needing to take something else or feeling like you're struggling. We're going to take Enveloping Shadows for the 45 row. Enveloping Shadows is just outperforming everything else, because it gives us basically twice as much Shadow Dance. So what do you want? Do you want 30% damage in your Shadow Dance or 100% uptime on your Shadow Dance? I'll take the uptime every time. Maybe even more. So what it does, it gives us 1 extra charge. So we have 2 charges of Shadow Dance. And it gives us extra cooldown reductions when we use our finishes. Really nice. And for the last row, as much as I want Secret Technique to be Death from Above as it was back in Legion, it is not, and it is basically just doubling the damage of our Eviscerate, which is not really worth. Especially on a 45-second cooldown. So instead, we are going to take Master of Shadows, which grants us 25 energy every time we enter Shadow Dance. which we're going to do a hell of a lot more than in pressing secret techniques. In some Mythic Plus scenario, secret techniques might be okay, but in the findings I've done here in my Mythic Plus settings, it haven't really been much of a difference. And that is going to be it for the talents, guys. Alright, onward to the next one. Alrighty, guys. And for the Azerite essences and traits, which are the only remaining of the borrowed power we have left from BFA, here in the Shadowlands pre-patch, we are actually going back and using Worldvein Resonance as our main essence. And it is really good because our best stat is agility, so it has been a massive boost in damage, and it allows you to get some really hefty burst out. So, but as you may know, Worldvein Resonance is also having one slight caveat. It's not really good if you have to move around a lot. So if you are in situations where you have to move around a lot, I would recommend you try out Crucible of Flame. Crucible of Flame simulates just a slight bit below Worldvein Resonance as what I have found, and I have checked out with other resources, and it's about the same. For the other BIS minor essences, you want to use Conflict and Strife, Crucible of Flame, and Memory of Lucid Dreams. Memory of Lucid Dreams is really important in comparison to the talents, as it's going to give us a metric ton of energy. So that is really nice to make sure the flow of the specs goes really nicely. So, highly recommended. For Azerite traits, we are going to take Blade in the Shadows, one of those. We're going to have one first dance, and we are going to have one inevitability. That is the best Azerite traits that we can have right now. Overwhelming Power and Elemental Well is also really good. Ideally, we are gonna have 3 Heart of Darknesses because they just gave us 18 of all secondary stats without the requirement of the other essences. So that's really, really nice. So take as much of them, and to get those stats, you want the Stygian Guys, you want the Great Convergence Pauldrons, and you want the Tortured Flesh Beast Couriers, which drops from the Nesaf fight, and then you have the Stygian Guys from Mort. So it should be pretty easy to come around. So if you are a heroic raider, you could push into Mythic, get them out, try and get the Stygian Guys, and you could kill the 2 last bosses, and then you have 475, 475, and 480 on your Azerite traits. So this should be really nice, or what used to be those item levels. So they would now be 145, 145, and 135 with the upgrades. Really nice Azerite pieces, and they are pretty easy to come by for each difficulty. And if you're starting to push into heroic, just drop down a tier and do the normal, the soft fights, and more to get your hands on those. And that actually concludes the Azerite essences and things for raiding that you should be focusing on. Alrighty, guys, so stats and trinkets. Stats, as mentioned before, agility will be our best stat for the sub-rogue in raiding. Also in Mythic Plus. Agility is just like quite a bit ahead all the other stats, so main stats is best stat, which makes it really nice because it's easy to come by and it's what we have the most of. Which also mean, as general rule of thumb, more item level is more better, except for rings, because rings don't have any main stat, and trinkets. The Mechagon rings that gives you extra haste, get a combo of those, so either the recursion one with the extra spells, or preferably, as we are sub-rogue, backstabby ring that procs it when you hit something from behind. Also really nice, combined with the overclocking bitband that gives you extra haste. Enough about the rings. So is for secondary stats, you want to have haste. No, not haste. You want to have versatility as your main stat. That is your best stat. Get as much of that as possible. From chance, gems, verse, all the things, one agi-gem, and for the weapon in chance, you want to have one force multiplier and one versatile navigation. You can swap the force multiplier out for a critical navigation, so the one that gives you crit, which will be your second best stat. So it goes verse, crit, mastery, haste. All stats are really good. They're really close to each other, and what is best will change depending on what you have of each stat already. So there's some breakpoints. So always try and sim your character. When in doubt, sim it out. Remember that, guys? Leave a comment if you remember that. And make sure you get the best stats possible, so you optimize your characters. Raidbots.com is a great place to sim out. It's really easy and nice to use. Go and check that out. And that is really it for the gems and stats trinkets that you want to use. Other trinkets that I didn't even go into trinkets. So trinkets, we are going to use Spyglass. Deadeye Spyglass is by far the best trinket that you'll come by. And Dice is also really good. Golden Plumage is really nice as well as a nice unused trinket. It doesn't really line up as well as other things. Razor Call is also another really good trinket, especially if you're gonna go for item level locks. Razor Call is the trinket that gives you the most damage to item level ratio. And it seems just on par with Plumage. So Spyglass Call, Spyglass, Plumage is like 1 DPS in between for the... Then there is the pros and cons of using Plumage. Plumage, much easier to use on shorter fights, especially. So if you're going for locks, Plumage might be the best option. Or if you just want to optimize your character for as much damage as possible, on longer fights, Razor Call is definitely the choice for you. But keep in mind, with multiple targets, Razor Call loses a bit of its value, as you'll have to switch away from the target and you'll miss out on a few stacks. Alright, I think we covered it. Now I think we covered everything we are supposed to cover in this segment here. Cool. Great. Alright guys, let's go over how the sub-rogue actually plays out in a more real world scenario. So here we are, we're gonna open. So what we're going to do here, how you generally play. You Shadow Strike, you get your combo points up, you get your Rupture rolling, you get your Slice and Dice rolling. In the opener, you want to get those rolling quick so you can get into your burst. You never want to use your Slice and Dice or Rupture during Shadow Dance. Do not do that. It's not good. Don't do it. In Shadow Dances, we want to make sure we get 3 Eviscerate every time if we want to do the most DPS possible. The way you can do this is make sure you have pooled combo points and or energy. Depending on your gear, the amount of pooling you'll need to do to achieve the 3 Eviscerates in one Shadow Dance will vary a lot. I can almost pull off 3 Eviscerates every Shadow Dance by just not pulling anything. And if I pull enough, I am sometimes lucky enough, depending on the crits, to get 4. So you want to at least get 3. Go for 4 if you have the gear for it. And are lucky enough. It really requires some crits, and you don't want to stack up too much crit because you'll lose value in the long run. So the way it normally goes is that we go here, we do our Shadow Strike, get a Eviscerate up, Shadow Blades, just quickly in and get a Rupture on, and then we press and line up as many things as possible. Eviscerate, Eviscerate, and we use our Eviscerate at 5 or 6 combo points. And hopefully we won't miss here on this training dummy. And we refresh our Rupture and our Slice and Dice outside of it. make sure that you hold a Shadowlands stack for your Symbols of Death, so you can use Shadowlands and Symbol of Death in the same time and get those lined up together. So once we come out of our Shadowlands here, we are gonna refresh our Slice and Dice. Get that up. Slice and Dice have a really long uptime if you stack it. So does Rupture actually, so it's really nice. We can just chill here a bit. And yeah, now we see our Symbols of Death and our Worldvein Resonance is about to line up here again. So we are of course going to stack that up with another Shadow Dance. And then we go in and burst here again. 1, 2, and 3 eviscerates. Pull up some energy. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. 3 in each. And remember here, we get a Rupture. And we get our Slice and Dice up again. We wait for this one here to line up. And we go boom, boom. Now we go again. And this is pretty much how you play Sub Rogue. So you want to line them up. And you want to make sure you only refresh your Rupture and Slice and Dice outside of Shadowlands. So, guys, I'll leave some closing thoughts here after this little clip here. This is the quick way how to go it. I'll make sure to have some graphics here on the screen, so you can like pause the video here or just continue, depending on where I put them. Pause the video there and just look at them and see how it goes. Alright guys, so some closing thoughts here for the video. It was a lot of fun to make, and it has been a lot of fun playing Sub Rogue. I have really been looking forward to this here in a while. I actually played Mythic Plus, like seriously, by myself, and we managed to get the rank 1, number 1 in the world, baby, for raid IO score for Sub Rogue. Given there weren't a lot of competition, and the fact that Sub Rogue isn't that great for Mythic Plus, but I'll take it nonetheless. A rank 1 is a rank 1. Oh, we got it. I don't know if we'll still have it. I'll leave a screenshot in the description below if you don't believe me. Click the description, damn it. All you naysayers. God damn it, man. Naysayers everywhere. But yeah, good luck, and go and pump your 9-10k burst DPS with your Sub Rogues. Guys, it's been a massive pleasure doing this video for you guys. I hope to see you on the live stream. Take care and goodbye.